What is going on, everybody? This is episode 869 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary, and it's Brett's birthday!
That's true, and we're not going to sing happy birthday. I don't care if it's not copyrighted anymore. In the chat, Unknown says Brett's baby oil birthday bash. No.
Ooh.
That's going on over at the courthouse.
There will be no freaking off.
No freak offs and definitely no baby oil, though you might want to go invest in Johnson & Johnson right now.
And then
this is not financial advice.
You know, because it's Brett's birthday, Tim decided to order a truckload of Taco Bell to the premises. Just at the exact moment that we go live. So just know how much we sacrifice for you, even on a special day like this. We have so many $20 super chats to get through just before
let's get through
we dive in. Shane H. Wilder, happy Wednesday, Brett and Mary. Happy birthday, Brett. I made you a card and a sheet cake with some of your favorite things. I hope you don't mind buttercream frosting, 10 crisis parties, and Brett has to eat pierogies. Yes, that is in the description, but I should remind you, if we get to 10 crisis parties today, Brett has promised that he will subject himself to eating pierogies, his ancestral diet.
I won't be happy about it, but I will do it.
Are you called a Pole if you're Polish?
I guess, yeah.
As a Pole, I think that you will enjoy them.
Wait, what do they call that make me a Croat and a Pole?
That sounds like
Croatian?
slurs, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not.
Yeah. I know the slur for Polish people. I won't say it on air, but
I got Brett a bunch of sweets for his birthday, but not a cake. Everything that I wanted to eat, I just am going to eat vicariously through Brett. I think blueberry donuts, apple cider donuts,
it will all
Reese's
be consumed.
Cookie, birthday cake flavored popcorn, which doesn't really make sense, but I just thought it was fitting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's I got a whole box of stuff over here that I will look, and I've been like trying to watch my weight, but you know what?
You know,
I earned this.
Just share it with Olivia. It'll be fine. Shane H. Wilder said, if we don't get to 10 crisis parties, then Mary has to eat the pierogies. Then she'll be upset because she's in a calorie surplus. Then the show will go off the rails. Dogs and cats sleeping together, mass hysteria.
Isn't it dogs and cats living together, mass
I don't know.
hysteria? It's from Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I do not want to be subjected to the pierogies for my own reasons. We have another 20 from King. Happy birthday, Brett.
Thank you very much.
And the first crisis party is going off. Thank you.
Standing on business today.
Badump Bash said, happy birthday, Brett.
Thank you very much.
Many more.
All right, hold on.
Do you feel more mature today?
Do I feel more mature? I do, but it's mainly because I'm getting married.
Oh, yeah.
That's like Olivia pointed out, your only birthday as a fiance and your last birthday before you're married. So, you know, I do feel more mature.
This is interesting. You guys still show up as your old screen names on the spreadsheet that I use to read your chats. Valuing You said, happy birthday, Brett. Thanks, my man, for all the insights, reviews, fun, and reasonable takes. Makes life more fun each day. Cheers.
It is always good to bring a bit of reasonableness to the internet, though, as rare as that is. Though I have not put I have not put X back on my phone. I've just kind of subjected myself that if I have something interesting to say, I'll have to say it while I'm at work, or I guess go to a computer at home, like an actual desktop.
That's such a benefit of this job, at least in my opinion.
Yep.
Pop Culture Junkie said, Brett, an extra loud happy birthday to you. Please do not break anything. Mary, good news for you regarding Devil Wears Prada. Adrian Grenier, who played Hathaway's boyfriend, is not in the sequel.
We were talking about this before.
I was just complaining about him as if he's a real person.
In fact, it's kind of relevant because given that what we're being my birthday, and you said that this character in the movie is kind of...
yeah, that was one of the parts that pissed me off the most. So it's his birthday and they're planning this birthday dinner. She has to go to a work event and he's all pissed off at her because she didn't show up to his birthday dinner.
That is the least manly thing I could ever think of in my entire life. Literally, like, this job is like requiring me to celebrate my birthday on air, but if a guy goes a day and it's his birthday, you just live your life.
Or, you know, just move the dinner to a different day.
Like, literally, like me and Olivia are going to go out for dinner on Saturday. Because Saturday is a better day to go out for dinner.
Doesn't have to be
like, because I have to do IRL tonight. I'm like, oh, could somebody cover for me? It's my birthday. I want to go out and get myself a little treat.
Sweet treat. Well, you have sweet treats.
I do have sweet treats.
So that's taken
Guys,
care of.
if it's your birthday, just go with it. Celebrate when people can find the time. And definitely no birthday week. And if you have a birthday month, you are officially a woman.
King said for the Brett Pierogi Fund.
Well, we're getting there. Again, 10 crisis parties, and I will suffer through the indignancy of eating a pierogi.
And Alberto Hernandez said something birthday. Can y'all show me how that song goes? Anyway, happy birthday, Brett.
Thank you guys very much.
Think we have another 20. Did I miss one?
From Pork Stuff?
Pork
Said
Stuff.
happy birthday, Brett.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Pork Stuff.
Guys, we have a bunch of stuff to get into today, but before we get started, as always, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share this episode and all of the segments out with your friends and your family, your loved ones, people in your life that you both like and hate in equal measure. The more people that you share it with, the faster this channel can grow. I would like you to go into the comments section and argue with people about whatever it is that we are talking about. It increases our engagement. It's part of my master plan. So what are we getting into today? Well, we are going to talk about it. Diddy, he's a slippery one. He got out of the big charges in his trial. We're going to get into it, but he skated, he slid through on all the serious stuff. So we're going to talk about that. We are also going to talk about Scarlett Johansson, who is taking a 2019, 2018 playbook for promoting her movie Jurassic World Rebirth by talking about the male gaze and sexism in Hollywood. It doesn't seem like a winning formula to me, but what do I know? I don't know nothing. So we're going to talk about that. Also, many of the ardent defenders of Justin Baldoni are going to be dragged into court, it seems, right?
I mean, probably not.
Blake Lively is subpoenaing. Is that the?
Subpoenaing. Yeah, it's a weird word.
Subpoenaing supporters of Justin Baldoni that have been covering the trial at Candace Owens and, of course, Andy Signore.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
I would like to think of him as a friend of the show.
Over at Popcorn Planet, so they're gonna be having to answer about whether they're secretly working for Justin Baldoni.
Right. They're spies for the cause.
So we're going to talk about that. We are also going to talk about how Gen Z has had enough of Instagram face. If you don't know what that is, just go on Instagram right now, look at your For You page, and scroll long enough, and I'm sure you'll see some example of it.
I mean, if you're a man, you can just go to your Explore page on Instagram, and there are probably going to be tons of Instagram faces. You already know exactly what we're talking about, though.
So we're going to get into it. You ready to get started?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go for it.
Unless there's another crisis party that's just about to go off.
No, we're good. Again, guys, 9 more crisis parties if you want to force me to eat pierogies.
Sounds good. Big news, not necessarily good news. It's good news for Diddy. The verdict is in for the Diddy trial. It is now concluded, and he has been found not guilty of the most severe charges against him. And something about this just seems fishy to me because obviously the federal government is not going to prosecute somebody if they don't think that they can definitely convict. They have, 95% conviction rate, and he has only been found guilty on 2 counts, and they are the least serious ones. They are transportation for the purpose of prostitution, aka the Mann Act, but he has been acquitted of charges of racketeering, sex trafficking of Cassie, and sex trafficking of Jane, who is an anonymous accuser.
He faces up to 20 years in prison. I guess 2 years, 2 sentences of 10 years in prison is the max for each. I mean, my guess is with lawyers as good as his, they would, at the most, they would say you can serve them concurrently, and then you'll be out with good behavior in 30 days and a bucket of pickup sticks.
I just wonder why they would bring this case if they didn't know it was locked down. If they didn't know they had indisputable evidence for every single claim, why would they do it?
I don't know. I can't think of why it would even have been brought to trial in that case, unless there was a prosecutor that just really hated him and was like, you know what,
you said the prosecutor was James Comey's daughter?
I think I saw somebody say that the prosecutor was James Comey's daughter. Somebody can fact check me on that one.
It was
something I read earlier. I'm not sure if that's true.
Well, obviously, Diddy, he's an upstanding man, a man of faith, and he was leading his family in prayer prior to the verdict in court. And as soon as it was read out loud, he turned around to his family and he said, said, "I'm coming home."
I've actually got
Diddy's home.
a drawing of it here.
Yep. Yeah, it's really evocative.
Look, I just watched this whole video about like Bob Ross and how his legacy was stolen from him by this family, but they needed to hire somebody more on Bob Ross's level to do these pictures.
Well, the point of them is that they're not that great, but now the reactions are pouring in, and of course 50 Cent had something to say. He commented on Instagram, "Diddy beat the feds, that boy a bad man. Beat the Rico, he the gay John Gotti."
I like this one of Sean Diddy Combs' jury selection for trial, and it's just all different versions of 50 Cent.
He also said, "Donald doesn't take well to disrespect and doesn't forget who chooses to go against him while working tirelessly to make America great again. There is no room for distraction. He would consider pardoning anyone who was being mistreated, not Puffy Daddy."
What's weird is, like, I still remember in 2020 before the election when he, like, said he was going to vote for Trump and then, like, recanted.
You mean 50 Cent?
50 Cent.
Yeah.
And he recanted because of the public outcry.
But he did vote last year.
Well,
he voted for Trump last year.
It just shows you how much has changed since 2016.
Right, yeah. But 50 Cent is Diddy's biggest op.
Yes.
And I'm sure he's enriched himself off of this whole trial going down because he put out that docuseries. And
what if, I mean,
he's all over it.
Everyone's saying that Diddy is going to get pardoned by Trump, but what if Trump sends him to Alligator Alcatraz?
It would not be a popular move for Trump to do that. I highly doubt that he will.
Alligator Alcatraz. He becomes the first person sent to Alligator Alcatraz.
Can you imagine if Trump really did pardon Diddy?
He wouldn't.
People would be outraged.
Literally.
And now you're saying there are claims that Diddy has gotten off of his serious charges because he's a CIA asset?
I saw people saying that, and what I felt was annoyance that people just say stuff like that.
They do.
I'm picturing Diddy goes in and he's holding up his CIA badge, but I'm assuming that CIA agents don't carry badges.
Understood.
Yeah. Well, what did you say? You said that there was evidence. Look,
yes.
I imagine that everyone in Hollywood has talked to at least one CIA agent.
Well, prior to the criminal trial was the Rodney Jones lawsuit.
Yeah.
And when you read through that one, it's suggesting that Diddy has relationships with corrupt cops in LA. And that
100% believe it.
Create fake police reports when there is a crime scene. For instance, one that occurred allegedly in a music studio where shots were fired and his son was present. And then they reported it in the official police report, according to Rodney Jones, as a drive-by shooting, which is total bullshit.
You had a 20 there from Williams 858.
Happy birthday, Brett. And in relation to last night's episode, European politics even worse than Americans. We also have hurtled of years of spite to each other.
I mean, think about this, though. Like, we just talked about, this just gives me an excuse to bring it up, Bob Villain being banned from the U.S. because of, or having their visa revoked because of their comments. Mm-hmm. And then today we find out that Australia has banned Kanye because of his most recent song. Everyone's gonna ban everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, I expect that
words.
from the Australian government. They don't have a concept of free speech or freedom of association.
Could have been worse. They could have arrested him when he got to town and sent him to a penal colony.
It was the Australian government that censored Lauren Southern from continuing her political career. They said in order to live there, she had to stop posting on social media altogether. Anyway, I had no idea there was this dedicated of a fan base for Diddy, but they were standing outside of the courthouse yesterday celebrating over the verdict and pouring baby oil all over themselves.
This would have been today, not yesterday. This would have been today.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Earlier today.
Today. Mm-hmm. Yes! Yes! This is so embarrassing. Like, of all the people to defend, why Diddy?
Johnson & Johnson.
No, play the rest of it.
Johnson & Johnson stock is now jumping the way that hand sanitizer jumped during COVID.
Yes!
What is wrong with these people?
Oh. Big super chat there.
We just got a crisis party.
Thank you.
From drummer Happy B-Day Brett and also Hello Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the crisis party. That should be going off any minute now.
Yeah. And then, of course, there are women were flashing their breastises, as they say.
I mean, we can show that. It is censored.
I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
Great.
It's just like, why?
Why?
Why are you?
Why are you
get
doing
a
that?
job? Have some shame. Of all the people to defend this passionately, why Diddy? Why?
I can't think of it. Like, was there like a Johnny Depp version of this? Did they like go out in Jack Sparrow costumes after he was after he won? Did they do that?
Yeah.
That's embarrassing too.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least in Johnny Depp's situation, you could actually frame it as a success for him. He did actually win that ostensibly.
Yes.
Diddy is still looking at least a few years in prison for his charges.
I don't think he ends up spending a day in jail.
No?
I bet you
just
he ends
slap
up
on the wrist.
Slap on the
likely.
like he'll pay a huge I mean, maybe I'm the reason we don't cover these types of stories is like this is the genre. Like there's plenty of YouTubers, they call them law tubers, who know a lot about this type of stuff and can add real value to discussing the legal proceedings. We are not that. This is not that. I'm here to laugh at everybody making memes now. I did see this one. It says Diddy the second he gets home. Made me think of Dune.
He's switching out the baby oil for motor oil.
Then there was so many of them. This one.
So I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Look, it's a whole thing.
And it's so unserious, right? Like, it's crazy how this started out as such a somber,
real serious topic. And it's just devolved into, but the internet's going to internet.
Right.
And the thing is when 9,000 charges are laid against you, when 10, and by the way, he's not out of the woodwork yet because he's getting sued left and right in court that isn't criminal. And from what I understand, the legal threshold for being found guilty is way lower in that type of court.
Well, be found liable.
Yeah, liable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why aren't people treating this seriously? And I'm like dancing.
Thank you.
We have another 20 though from a battery Alex. Oh yeah, get stuffed with pierogies. Happy birthday, Brett. This show, including Steven Crowder, is the highlight of my days. You guys should try to get one of his people on as a guest.
That's a very good company to be in.
Which one, though?
Yeah.
Tell us who you want us to have on the show.
There is one more 20.
Maybe we can make it happen eventually.
Corey Anderson.
Oh, I missed that
one. Says, happy birthday, Brett. Just so you know, once you are married, you are obligated to like every post OC ever makes. Woe be on your head if you are late. I know from 19 years worth of marriage going back to MySpace.
Wow.
Mary, sup? Yeah.
It's obligatory, yeah.
I mean, like, the thing is
bare
like
minimum.
On X, I don't always get, like, you know, some people you have to, like, follow, and then, is there, like, a star system on X to make sure that you see everything of a specific person's post?
You get notifications for their posts.
Oh. See, my phone doesn't get any notifications at all.
But on Instagram...
Wait, does that mean I get to tell Olivia, like, okay, let me know when you post something, that way I can like it?
Or... you can just share logins on Instagram, and she can just log into your account and like all of her posts
and make one
from
of
your
those
account.
And make one of those like YouTube channels that's like Mike and Sarah.
Yeah.
And it's just a couple doing YouTube stuff. They make
Become
YouTube
an
shorts.
Influencer couple.
No.
I can think of nothing more
I can think
befitting.
of literally nothing worse for a relationship than doing something like that.
Yeah. I was obviously totally kidding about that.
All right. So again, like this was a case that started very serious and devolved into me making jokes about Johnson & Johnson stock. And
yeah, it devolved into the word Diddy becoming a synonym for homosexual. It devolved into
Diddy party becoming
QAnon
like a
level conspiracy theories. Freak off is now a slang word, and nobody actually knows any of the details of what was alleged against Diddy. And there are so many civil lawsuits filed against him that it is impossible to know what's true and what isn't. So it just kind of became information overload and got oversaturated, and we ended up just kind of ceasing our coverage of it because it all got way too lost in the weeds, and now that it's over, I guess we'll have to see what they do about sentencing.
All right.
We
got 20
there. 20 from Brian Bledsoe. Bieber in the crisis party during a Diddy segment. Just perfect. Happy birthday, Brett. Yeah, it's kind of a tragic irony, isn't it?
Look, but didn't he come out and say nothing happened?
Yep.
Didn't he actually address this?
No, he did. But he just meant I wasn't one of Diddy's victims, and you're taking away from the seriousness of the claims. Yeah. But I'm just saying, what we saw in that video is Diddy, spending 48 hours with a 15-year-old doing undisclosed activities. I just want to know what happened. Yeah. What happened in those 48 hours? And why would Diddy describe it as a 15-year-old's dream? Maybe
it was true. Maybe what happened is that Diddy is actually like a CIA agent, and the feds went in there to confiscate blackmail material that he had. They weren't actually interested in getting a conviction, just getting their materials back.
Diddy and Justin better have stopped by, go-karting, Chuck E. Cheese, maybe Dave & Buster's if you're feeling crazy that day. Maybe hit the movie theater
in public.
Yeah.
In all places.
Yeah. Something like that. Something that would be appropriate.
Like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Maybe a little shopping spree. Yeah. Nothing too sordid, but we'll never know.
What if he gets a sponsorship from Johnson & Johnson now and starts making ads for them?
That would be a disaster for them.
That would be amazing. Okay, let's move on.
All right. So I've noticed that plastic surgeons are finding a side hustle on social media. I guess if the income from plastic surgery isn't enough, they instead have created this little cottage industry of making videos about celebrities and speculating about the work that they've gotten done. And this one particular plastic surgeon named Dr. Jonathan Betteridge posted an Instagram video speculating about the whole list of procedures that Khloe Kardashian has gotten over the years. If you look back at photos of her from the 2010s compared to now, she is like a completely different person.
These accounts are huge now. Yeah. These doctor-run social media accounts or YouTube channels have millions upon millions of subscribers and lots of employees because the doctors also got a day job. Mm-hmm. So everybody knows Dr. Mike. Do you know who Dr. Mike is? Yeah. He's I watch his videos reviewing episodes of The Pit.
Right.
I assume that he doesn't.
I'm do you ever practice medicine?
He's got to be busy, right? So he's got to have a bunch of people working for him. Yeah. He doesn't set up the episode himself on a computer. Right, he comes in and sits down. He's like, bro, I got between 12 and 1. I've got a lunch break between appendectomies. I can do this at this time.
Yeah. So let's take a look at this Instagram reel. It got a lot of attention, including from Khloe Kardashian herself.
Okay, here we go.
Kardashian was the standout face for me at the Bezos wedding in Venice, and she turned 41 yesterday, so let's talk about her transformation. Taking into consideration Khloe's appearance from many years ago, we can appreciate just how much she has changed over the years. Alongside noticeable weight loss, I think she's had a temporal brow lift, upper blepharoplasty, rhinoplasty, lip filler, a face and neck lift, and a chin implant. Apart from the jawline being more contoured and the neck tighter, what I want you to notice here, how in the before photo the earlobe is slightly detached and hanging away from the face, but in the after it's tucked inward, smaller, and more flush with the jawline.
She also has a huge earring that's pulling it down.
True.
Indicative of a surgical procedure. In the after image, the hairline near the ear is more pulled back, which can result in a smaller sideburn. This can happen after a facelift when the skin is lifted and repositioned. It's a dramatic transformation. Probable surgical procedures I mentioned earlier can be visualized here in relation to the lifting of the brow, the reduction in upper eyelid hooding, the lifted and more contoured nose, fuller lips, projected chin, and tighter jawline. What do you think of Khloe's transformation? Let me know in the comments.
They have to add that part at the end. It's social media. It's sacrosanct.
Give me the engagement.
Yeah.
It is a theory that Khloe Kardashian is only half siblings with the other Kardashians.
Oh, yeah, we talked about
that. And that O.J. Simpson actually is her biological father.
But speaking of Diddy trials.
Maybe she was getting all of these surgeries to disguise the fact that she is O.J. Simpson's spawn. But anyway, it's not just Khloe. There is no member of the Kardashian clan that is a stranger to plastic surgery or filler or tweakments. But she has gone under one of the most dramatic transformations of all of them. Kris Jenner recently has de-aged herself by decades. It's actually shocking.
What's the meme? It says, "You're not ugly, you're just poor."
Yeah, exactly. These people are why that phrase exists. And Khloe Kardashian must have seen this on her algorithm and decided to respond to the plastic surgeon's video and clarify with a full list of everything that she's gotten done. Now, my first assumption about this is that she is omitting things.
Yes, the power is in the stuff that you don't mention. Yeah. Like the key is like there's probably 2 or 3 big ones that you leave out, but the sheer number of procedures means you can list a bunch of stuff, and as long as it takes up this much space on a page, then it seems like you're giving the idea of full disclosure.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So the CIA probably taught her that.
Someone being super detailed about their account of something is a sign that they're probably lying. That's what I'm getting from this comment. But here is what she said. I take this as a great compliment. Doubt. First off, I think these photos are about 15 years apart, but here's a list of things that I have done. I've been very open in the past about what I have done, so here we go. Nose job, and then she tags the plastic surgeon responsible for her nose. Laser hair for the hairline and everywhere else. She tags the medical spa. Botox and Sculptra, where my face tumor was removed in my cheek. Soft wave laser for skin tightening.
Bro, I don't even know what that means.
I don't either. These are like technologies that the general public is not aware of. It's like how the military gets first access to...
Yeah, they're like GPS during Vietnam.
Yeah, exactly. Filler in the past, but not any over the last few years. Again, doubt. I hear it never goes away, so I'm sure it's still there, but calmed down. So she's claiming she's on hiatus from fillers. Hard to believe. Lost 80 pounds over the years, slow and steady. She then tags her fitness trainer. It was not Harley Pasternak, believe it or not. Collagen baby threads underneath my chin and neck. I have no idea what a collagen baby thread is. And then this is the craziest part. Salmon sperm facials / regular facials, peptides, vitamins, and daily skincare. So she has actually admitted to using salmon sperm as a skincare product before. I think that she said she's also considered using whale sperm. But yeah, at least you're not using pulverized baby foreskin as a skincare treatment.
It's a step up.
I've heard that other celebrities use that. Who was the one that went on Ellen and talked about it?
Oh my gosh, who was it? Was it Gwyneth Paltrow?
No.
I know who you're talking
about. Someone similar.
It came up in the context of some episode of Ellen. I thought it was Gwyneth Paltrow, but it could have been like literally it's somebody in that same vein.
Right.
Somebody who looks like a Karen and is very, very rich and out of touch.
So, I mean, I guess everyone just thinks it's so hilarious.
If anybody knows who it was in the chat, let us know.
To harvest baby foreskin and use it as
Sandra
a moisturizer.
Bullock.
Yeah, it was Sandra Bullock.
Thank you.
Exactly, yeah.
Thank you, guys. Chat just right there with us.
So I think that might be omitted from the full list here. And she said at the end, in 2025, there are many other things we can do before surgery when it's time. But when it's time, and if I choose to, I know some great doctors. So this is her follow-up to Kylie Jenner issuing details on her breast augmentation surgery to a bunch of young women on TikTok just a couple of weeks ago.
The next version of this is they're all going to list their therapists and the different types of therapy they go to.
I guess the meta has changed. It used to be that it was unheard of to openly talk about the procedures you had gotten done. Most of the time they would lie about it. Kylie Jenner herself told people with a baboon anus on her face that she had never gotten lip filler for years and then used it to sell makeup. And then, of course, later on, the truth came out.
I mean, this is like people in the bodybuilding community who are more open about what steroids they use.
Like, I don't believe it's praiseworthy that at least they're being honest. Like, I just don't buy it. Like,
somebody in the chat said she's a real wildcat. That's interesting because that picture was the first thing I saw when I... Like, she wore that to a wedding.
Trash. So tacky.
A little trashy.
Yeah, but I guess that was kind of the vibe of the occasion anyway, so it was
in the chat. Alan says, "I'm 34 and screw the universe. I'm gonna stay young until I die."
No salmon sperm.
From the beers or Monster Energy. Well, I don't drink the beers, and I haven't been drinking the Monster Energy, so maybe I too can stay young forever.
I mean, is she really trying to convince us that she's never gotten plastic surgery on her body?
Womp, womp, womp.
Come on.
Nobody believes you.
Really? Like, I mean, I guess technically she could sleep at night and tell herself that she wasn't lying because she just said, here's a list of things I've had done.
Yep.
She didn't say, here's a list of all the things I've had done.
Here's a list of the stuff that has happened, not a list of all the stuff that has happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is just a lie by omission, but it is seeming to be a trend now where you can disclose the cosmetic procedures you've gotten done and people will praise you for it and act like you're some kind of paragon of virtue. First of all, for being honest, which is just stupid. And second of all, for putting other women on to what you did to become hotter. So it's like a form of feminism to encourage other women to go under the knife to look like sex bots.
What if this was actually secretly a money grab and she like is getting paid from all those doctors that she tagged in that post?
I bet that's probably an undisclosed ad. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And they're going to get flooded with new business as a result of this post.
Is there a guy's I always have to bring this stuff up in these types of topics. Is there like a guy's version of this for like straight men, not gay men?
Version of what?
Like of this type of vanity, I guess it would be.
It is the bodybuilding community.
Yeah,
yes.
like it's even then, like I have more respect for that because they still have to put the work in. They still have to actually do the working out.
Yeah.
Rather than just sit there. I guess it's work to heal. Unless
they get implant abs.
Unless they're Drake and Big Sean.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just getting a little uncomfortable how comfortable they are. Like, she just posted this because it's good PR. And it's strange that people see this and they think it's relatable. It
gets her in the news cycle. Channels like us cover it. And then obviously channels that are much more specific and cover that type of media specifically also cover it. And it gives her name recognition.
It's like, wow, she's so real. She's so honest. She's so open. There's nothing praiseworthy about
I remember when Alan Richson brought up that he was on TRT when they were talking about the... Thank you! When they were talking about his workout routine going into reach. Thank you! We're not halfway to pierogies, but getting there. We'll see if you guys come through.
You said Alan Richson admitted that he was doing TRT.
Yeah, like when he was doing the promotion, when he was doing the promotion for like Reacher season 2 or 3, he was like, because he's in his 50s, I think, or he's late in his mid 40s or something like that.
Right.
And was just talking about being on TRT and all that stuff. And they also did the thing. They're like, oh, he admitted it as if it was like this huge deal, but
like, you deserve a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
Just because. Yeah. You admitted that you used artificial means to achieve a certain look.
Implant abs are a thing. It's so funny because I've got Olivia to watch Arrow, and that shows like we're going to be talking about Scarlett Johansson in the male gaze, but there had to have been something in his contract that required Stephen Amell to be shirtless in every episode, and working out. Like literally, like in the first season, like there was at least one montage in a couple of episodes where it's just him working out and Felicity staring at him, like drooling over him. And the crazy thing is the guy who plays Diggle, the actor's name's David Ramsey. He played the mayor in like several seasons of Blue Bloods. The dude's like even bigger than him. The dude's absolutely jacked. And I'm just like, and I'm sure, like, do they have to be like, Stephen Amell was younger at that time. He was in his late 20s or his early 30s. But now if he wants to look like that, if he wants to go back into that, I'm sure it takes some help.
Did Hugh Jackman ever talk about doing steroids for Wolverine?
I don't know.
Because he almost certainly did, right? Certainly looked like it.
I'm sure. I can't know for sure, but I'm sure he did.
I mean, I think that might actually have more of an argument for why you should disclose it, because people have been discussing the spread of body dysmorphia among young men, and the fact that a lot of fitness influencers portray their physiques as natural when, of course, they're lying, and that encourages their followers to eventually go by other means to get the same look.
I think that
they're being lied to.
It is a failing on their part, but it is also a failing on the part of the men who, it's like, the joke is always when women see hot women in movies, they're like, cover them up because it's unattainable. Like, those are unrealistic beauty standards. Where are her organs? Blah, blah, blah. Whereas guys see a dude like that in a movie and they're like, holy crap, I need to go to the gym and start working out now. Like, a dude should see that as aspirational. It's a flaw on your part if you get jealous.
Sure, but it's like, you know, Liver King, right? Like, he's telling all of his male followers
that is a problem.
That he's natural when he's not. And yeah, I think that that's more wrong than just getting plastic surgery and not promoting it to your followers. Agreed. Because they already know that you got the work done. Why do you need to tag the medical spas? Why do you need to tag the plastic surgeons? She's probably getting commissions off of the customers that she sends to them, which is really dark.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, so back in 2022, we talked about Jeanette McCurdy, who played Sam Puckett in iCarly on Nickelodeon as a kid. She had just released a memoir, and the title is I'm Glad My Mom Died. And you can see on the cover, she is holding an urn, which presumably contains the ashes of her mother, and she's smiling, looking up into the distance. It's supposed to be tongue-in-cheek, but really the memoir focuses on her growing up as a child star, undergoing a lot of trauma in that line of work, and also having an overbearing stage mother who was a narcissist and put a lot of pressure on her to be a starlet and be also a financial provider for her family. So this was something we were discussing back when it came out, and since then, we've seen Quiet on Set, the docuseries about Nickelodeon, come out. We've seen Child Star, the documentary that Demi Lovato put onto Hulu last year, and countless other endeavors basically for Hollywood to profit off of the trauma that they cause their own talent. It's the ultimate form of Hollywood hypocrisy.
It's how they catch them on the way back down. They're like, exactly. We'll make money going in, we'll make money coming out.
Yeah, we're gonna send you on the Disney or Nickelodeon conveyor belt. We're going to abuse you for everything that you're worth at the time, and then when you come out on the other side, a train wreck. When you come out through the train wreck side of the Child Star pipeline, we're also going to make money off of your trauma book, your trauma TV show, your trauma documentary, and your trauma press tour, and everyone wins.
But the problem is then if they start using their flowery language, like, oh, it's about healing. Mm-hmm. No, it's about making money.
I'm getting a little ahead of myself, though, because Jeanette McCurdy's memoir is now being adapted into a live-action television series at Apple TV. They have given the show a 10-episode order, and the official logline for the series states that it is a heartbreaking and hilarious recounting of Jeanette McCurdy's struggles as a former child actor while dealing with her overbearing, domineering mother, who they just announced is being played by Jennifer Aniston in the series. The dramedy will center on the codependent relationship between an 18-year-old actress in a hit kids show and her narcissistic mother who relishes in her identity as a starlet's mother. And Jeanette McCurdy and Jennifer Aniston are confirmed to be executive producing on the series, so of course they're backing the funding for it in part, and they're going to make money off of it. So this is a way that you can monetize your trauma. This is a way that you can cash in all of your trauma coins and get a prize at the end. You know, it's just kind of cynical, in my opinion. But some people have pushed back on that perception. One of her fans said, as long as Jeanette has complete control over this, I can't find the energy to call it weird. People said that her book was also a bad idea at one point, too. But I'm just saying, why is it a given that her book is a good idea? Why is it just accepted as a given that monetizing your trauma or sharing your trauma is necessarily a good healing thing?
Yeah.
It just is a matter of shock factor and purulent interest for the public.
I guess, like, the argument, if you're taking the surface level argument, is that just talking about it at all is supposedly a good thing, but that's not necessarily true.
It doesn't cause anything to change in the industry.
Correct.
It never has.
No.
And it's just funny that Demi Lovato's docuseries at Hulu, owned by Disney, is talking about her trauma as a Disney child star. So Disney makes money on you even decades after they first put you on.
Kyle Dixon for 27, and I guess that's Canadian, says, happy birthday, Four Eyes. Thank you.
Is that the only one that we missed? Are we good?
We're good.
Okay. And people are also speculating about who else will be cast in the TV series because, of course, this is focusing on her time at Nickelodeon. So, of course, they're going to cast Jeanette McCurdy's actress, and they're going to cast someone as Ariana Grande, who was also on a show with her. They're going to cast a Miranda Cosgrove, and, of course, they're going to cast a Dan Schneider because he is the anonymous creator that she refers to in her memoir who abused her. And she didn't get into a lot of detail about that, but a couple of years back during the press tour that she went, did the rounds to promote her book, she said that Nickelodeon offered her $300,000 in hush money as she was departing from the Sam and Cat series. So, what is this really worth other than people wanting to pore over the crude, shocking, and
what do you mean by
depressing details of your personal life?
This type of train wreck is one of the most common types of public fascination. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that there's a lot of disdain for actors to begin with. So a lot of people, when they see stuff like this, it kind of reaffirms their hatred of the industry, which is odd to begin with because people have a morbid curiosity about all of the bad sides of it, but are still willing to, interact with it as a whole. It's one of the reasons why I never swear off Hollywood entirely or throw the entirety of the industry under the bus, because it makes you a hypocrite if you're willing to engage with one aspect of it, but you're not. But at other aspects you talk about, it's unconscionable and it's evil. It's like, well, then you have to be willing to admit that you're willing to interact with evil, because I guess at the end of the day, you also say Hollywood makes money both, when they make their way up and then when they fall down and then write their book. But really, it's people, it's individuals make money on this who are just going to interact with other people, and everybody enters into their own agreement for their own ends. So it's a lot simpler to phrase it that way, to phrase it as if like Hollywood makes money going in and Hollywood makes money coming out. But Hollywood is just the vehicle for the mechanism, right? It's just the vehicle that allows individuals to make money. Now, that's different if we're talking about Dan Schneider makes money going in, and then Dan Schneider produces the documentary going out. That would be insane.
Right.
But that's not, it's more complicated than that.
We have a huge $100 super chat from Not That Jon Stewart. Smells like pierogies in here.
Well, we're getting there,
smell it
but
already.
I'm scared.
It's going to happen. I can feel it. We have a $39 super chat from High Voltage 75. Happy birthday, Mr. Bretto.
Thank you.
Hope you get to enjoy some yummy, nourishing pierogies. You deserve it. And even if we can't, I request OC sing you happy birthday for us when you get home. By the way, any mocha update?
There will be more Mocha updates coming soon. We're waiting on a second opinion from the last scan. So when we get those, we will let you guys know.
All right.
But Mocha has been putting weight back on, which is a good sign, and acting more herself. And she'll even spend more time in other parts of the house, which she wasn't doing recently. She's been sticking to a very specific area, but she's moving about.
Well, to be clear, none of this is to say Jeanette McCurdy is being exploited.
In this
Obviously,
case,
she's
no,
in
she's
complete control of the situation.
She's making a calculated judgment for her own benefit, which is, of course, her decision.
And her fans and supporters would, of course, claim that this is her way of reclaiming what happened to her and taking the power back from her abusers.
That is just the dressed up, flowery language of it. Yeah. Something bad happened to you. It's your right to make some money capitalizing on that. That's the less flowery, less evocative way of saying it. It's a sad situation that you have a chance to, make yourself whole with in a monetary way.
I just think that they're ignoring the human cost, the spiritual cost, perhaps, of disclosing your childhood trauma to the world for money. And on top of that, they're ignoring the actual possibility to make some real change in this industry. Because she hasn't named the creator, she hasn't sued the creator, she hasn't made any actual claims of criminal activity against the creator. And I'm sure there are others who are not Dan Schneider, the creator, who also need to be exposed. But none of these names are going to be ever known by the public because nobody has the will to actually change it.
But none of them want to.
It's all just, let's put studio mandated therapists on set. There's never any impetus for real change.
There was some story recently where some actress says, like, the director, like, I didn't name the director who argued with me on set because, and then list whatever bullshit reason you want to give. It's because you want to continue to work.
Right.
Or Olivia Munn.
Self-interested.
Olivia Munn saying, like, I was labeled combative by a director because I didn't think that my character in Newsroom would act this way. It's like, it's your job to act the way the director tells you to, so you were being combative. But the point is that a lot of times they leave the names off. They don't mention who it was because they want to continue working. And again, that is your right to make that decision for you. Is the truth of the matter worth sacrificing your future in the industry? Is it fair that you're being put into that position? No, but it's the truth of the matter.
Yeah. And I just think, like, where is the concern for the children who are coming up in the industry currently? Like, obviously, they're the ones who are going to pay the price for these adults not doing anything.
In the age of the internet, a parent not being informed about what this industry is like is even more unconscionable than it was 20 years ago.
Right.
Like, nowadays, they really have to know.
In the case of Jeanette McCurdy's mom, I'm sure she was actually well aware of the dangers of the industry and didn't care because she wanted the money and the attention.
Yep. All right. Let's move on. What would you like to see, cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see cringe first.
Okay. How bad is today's? The shot is very close up, which I'm not a fan of.
I have no context for this. I just thought it was cringe. I have no idea who this guy is or what he's talking about.
I have never gotten so much attention from Latinas in my life. I am beyond fucking...
It was the red hand for me.
Why was his hand red? Did he die from dyeing his hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is that what Latinas are into?
I guess. We should show them the Love Island thing I sent you.
I bet everybody is enjoying Taco Bell right now.
I gotta send the Love Island thing that I showed you yesterday.
Do you have it?
I think I still have it here. Let me see if I can find it. It would have been, I'm gonna guess and say it would have been this one. I sent it on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if it's this one right here. Yes. Meet the cast of Love Island if they were honest.
Hi babes, I'm Michaela. I'm an influencer, and even though my life looks really great on social media, my mind is completely f***ed. I have OCD, depression, anxiety, and I'm a narcissistic sociopath. I am ready to find love.
What's up guys, my name's Jax. I'm an entrepreneur, AKA I'm unemployed. I live in my mom's basement, and I have no idea what I want to do with
He's got Harry Styles energy.
my life. I'm ready to find love.
I'm Shantae. I'm an actress, which means I'm a waitress who doesn't make any money off her career. I'm the most toxic person I know. I'm ready to find love.
My name's ScarJo. I'm a personal trainer because I'm only 5'8", and it's the only way I can get validation from girls because I'm insecure. I'm ready to find love.
My name is Kylie. I'm a professional model, AKA I do OnlyFans, and that's because I'm broken inside and have mommy and daddy issues. I am ready to find love.
What's good? My name's Brad, and I'm in finance, which basically means I provide zero value to society. I love and coke, even though I have a small and probably have herpes. I'm ready to find love.
Love Island, the place where no one really finds love.
Yes.
I would love to watch this one. Yeah, I'm all in. Okay. I wish this were the real thing.
Seriously, bro.
I would watch that.
All right, cue of the day. Josh Walker, meet Kobe, our husky German Shepherd, who is the laziest dog you'll ever meet. Did we show this one before? I don't know if we did, but it's so damn cute that we're going to show it again. It's okay to be lazy if you're a dog. You're allowed.
Like Dakota Johnson's love
Yes,
for
you
sleep.
should have sent that stuff to me. That made my day today. I like her more every time she does an interview.
It's so real of her. Like, I also wish that I could sleep for 14 hours,
a day.
But I have a job.
Gotta go to work. It's fine. All right. Remember, guys, if you would like to brag about your pets, you should submit them to me on X. Use the hashtag PCCPets in there and tag me in it. Pictures, not videos, please. It's just easier on the computer.
Mm-hmm. Scarlett Johansson is currently doing press for the next installment of Jurassic World, and none of the interviews have anything to do with Jurassic World. They're all about how hard it is to be a woman in Hollywood. Shocker. And she has a long history of complaining about this shit. I actually went through several years of headlines before we get to the current one. This was just a month ago. Scarlett Johansson was offered sex object roles for years after Lost in Translation. She also recalls in 2022 being hypersexualized as a young actress. People thought I was much older than I was. Scarlett Johansson talks being groomed in Hollywood for bombshell roles. And the latest is from an interview with The Times of London, where she says she was cast for her desirability, and now, thankfully, the male gaze no longer dominates the industry, so she can do artsy-fartsy roles like Marriage Story.
That must be why all the movies are failing.
I was talking to you.
I was talking to you yesterday. I watched this, guys. If you don't know who there's a YouTuber, his name's Thorius Unlimited. He does great reviews, and he does this great, like the way he describes the scene in F1. He goes, here's a guy. He's attracted to a girl. Here's a girl. She's attracted to a guy. You know what they do? They have sex.
Yeah.
And the idea here was that, like, Hollywood, for all their posturing about the male gaze, is in a lot of ways, on TV, it's like porn. And in the movies, it's like everything's sexless and sterilized because, God forbid, you show women being desirable because men might be attracted to it, and that's a bad thing. And in the movie, they don't show it, and it's done tastefully. But the point is they lean into the fact that it's a real thing. Men are attracted to women, women are attracted to men, but they turned her character into a real character. This lady is not just a sex object, but the point is that those roles are always going to exist. There will always be Sydney Sweeneys. They're going to be there forever, and even she, like we said earlier, is not just taking those types of roles. She is, however, having bathwater-infused soap.
Well,
sold.
yeah, look at the attention economy,
yes,
with Sydney Sweeney in particular. Nobody knows or cares about her role playing reality winner. Nobody knows or cares about her movie
that's
playing
still the
a
biggest.
nun
I'm sorry. The fact that
Immaculate.
the fact that is a real person will always be
Yeah.
a psyop to me.
Yeah, I mean that was.
I remember when Luke was telling me
kinda
about
crazy.
reality winner.
Nominal
and I'm
determinism,
and I'm like,
at its finest.
No, something happened in 2012.
But yeah, nobody cares about Sydney Sweeney playing a nun in a horror movie called Immaculate. Nobody cares about her role in White Lotus. It's just not what gets the most attention. What gets attention is Anyone But You, or maybe even Madam Web, even though it sucked, or Euphoria. They don't, and then other than that, her SNL appearance.
I would be more
her brand deals.
I would have more respect for the artist who's like, I got offered these roles my whole life, and I turned them all down. Because it went against my principles to act in a sexualized manner. So I turned them down so that I could help change the culture in Hollywood. You can say that and write that article and then get a good review from us. You don't get to do all of that, capitalize, make millions of dollars on it, and then complain about the culture. You can have one or the other. You cannot have both.
I mean, if we're being real, ScarJo wouldn't be the actress she is today had she not taken the sex object roles. But she celebrates the variety of her career these days, now that she is an industry veteran. She recently directed her first feature called Eleanor the Great, which is about an elderly woman who fraudulently joins a Holocaust survivor support group.
I just love that. Like I'm picturing this. Remember what I said a couple weeks ago? I said Hollywood sucks now because there's no more cocaine in the executive offices. Nobody's ripping lines of coke when movies are getting greenlit, and that's why things suck.
This is also why people make jokes about how actresses looked before Harvey Weinstein got toppled and after. Because now we're being told that like Bella Ramsey is the leading woman of the 21st century. Such a varied career wasn't a given. After Lost in Translation, Scarlett Johansson was offered a string of generic rom-coms, such as He's Just Not That Into You in 2009, films where only sex appeal was required, and which the actress has described as deeply unfulfilling. A lot of people have unfulfilling jobs. It's not that big of a deal.
It's literally part of life. Like,
you're not entitled to that.
The actual framing should be, what a privilege to be able to only, and this is something, to be fair, that is widespread in Hollywood, where they talk about, I just turn down the roles that I don't want. And that's fine, but you have to understand how that sounds to people who don't really have the opportunity to just decide whether they want a job that's fulfilling or not.
Right.
Like, that's rare.
It's a luxury.
That's a luxury. That's the definition of privilege. It's got nothing to do with your race, everything to do with your tax bracket and being able to hole up in a cottage for months preparing for a role.
Was that shade at Jenna Ortega?
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I was also thinking of like Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
He's like, I just left and went to the woods for 3 years. Like, yes.
I'm only gonna do movies that speak to my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. If only everyone in society had the ability to do that. But nowadays, ScarJo says the industry has completely changed for the better. She says it's a different time for young women. The messaging is different. There are many role models. Women are visible in powerful positions, and the opportunities I've had to play women who don't have to just be one thing or another have increased. But when I was younger, a lot of roles I was offered or I went for had their ambitions or character arcs revolving around their own desirability or the male gaze or a male-centered story. That is less frequent, though. Something has shifted. So she's talking about how her roles around desirability don't pass the Bechdel test. It was in male-centered stories, if she's someone's love interest or something like that. She says, I just waited. I had to become comfortable with the idea that it could take time, which is hard when you're a young actor, but at the time I didn't have any children, so my responsibility was just to be productive, trying to maintain the momentum of my career and wait for things that felt right. And that is hard because there is an existential angst that comes with waiting, but I had to allow space for the creative process to do its thing. It was nerve-wracking. I'm in a business where you feel like at any moment you'll become irrelevant, but I think it pays off. I know it does. So I suppose she's saying she gets more varied roles these days because she has earned a tenure in Hollywood as an A-lister. And also thanks to the Me Too movement and thanks to a whole culture of intimacy coordinators. And weirdly, I would say now the problem isn't that there's not enough sex in movies. I think there's an overabundance of sex in movies with zero chemistry, and none of it is written as it realistically happens.
I think of it as TV shows and not movies. Like, I don't know what the movies are that are having this stuff in them, but it feels like in the age of streaming, back in the day that was relegated to HBO and Cinemax, and now when the age of streaming, everybody gets to be HBO and Cinemax, so they have to have their obligatory sex scenes in every show.
Well, they write those scenes about sex or dating or relationships, any dynamic between men and women now, in a way that's completely divorced from reality. They write women as basically just men in disguise, and they write men as women in disguise, and it's not something that people find relatable, and it's not something that they find aspirational or desirable. It just feels like a weird fan fiction where you gender swap everybody.
Yes. It reminds me of just the other week, we never ended up talking about it, but Danny Boyle talking about how he couldn't make Slumdog Millionaire now because they would have to hire a young upstart director from India to make Slumdog Millionaire. So you're only allowed to make art that's representative of your very niche. So I guess Danny Boyle's a zombie? because he gets to make 28 Days Later. But the point being that you're not confined to art that is just the art that's representative of your own culture, but he's pulling the ladder up behind him, just like Scarlett Johansson is now pulling up the ladder behind her. Also, I was looking into the numbers, like the Hollywood box office between 2010 and 2015 averaged about $10 to $11 billion a year, whereas 2020 to 25 ranges from $2 billion to $9 billion, with a wide range there.
Not even accounting for inflation?
This is they list COVID as the reason for this, but be that as it may.
I mean, that's one of many factors, but we know it's a cop-out. I just think it's tiresome at this point. Like, it's all you want to talk about is how objectified you are, as if you don't have a say in the matter.
You do. You cannot take the roles.
Like, I was just watching Candace Owens on a Jubilee debate with 20 feminists, and one of them said that women are less objectified in 2025 than they were in the 50s. In the age of, like, OnlyFans and TNA all over Instagram, and
is the idea that they get
plastic surgery at an all-time
so
high.
Is the idea that because they make the decision to do it themselves that they're not objectified because there isn't a corporation doing it for them? Because there still is. It's called
probably some excuse like that. Yeah. And it's just ridiculous because yes, women are objectively objectified more than they've ever been, but there is a height of discussion about the same objectification constantly alongside it. So it's like, clearly your stated preference is not your revealed preference. You claim to be so against objectification. Everyone in Hollywood preaches about this issue, and yet they are the ones responsible for pushing sex down everyone's throat.
Yep. And I mean, that's not even my issues with it, is the hypocrisy. My issue with it is the ladder pulling from Scarlett Johansson. If you want to change the culture, you better be willing to admit that you participated in the culture. You don't get to act on the moral high horse.
Well, to be fair to Scarlett Johansson, it's not like she's single-handedly taking any opportunities away from a Sydney Sweeney.
No, she's not.
In fact, if you look at Sydney Sweeney's career in detail, she is crafting it to have that luxury of choosing the roles that speak to her artistically. She's not that great of an actress, but she clearly cares about having a creative vision.
Pretend that it won't work all you want. Pretend that nobody cares. But the reason Michael Bay Transformers movies did as well as they did is the explosions in the cars, but also the Megan Fox of it all, and the
making
objectification
people work
of women.
12-hour days.
Yes. It was a different culture. It was a different time. And I would argue that there will be people with much fonder memories of the first Transformers movies than there will be of all of the garbage that's coming out today. Say what you want.
This Eleanor the Great.
Yes. Like, more people like say what you want, but the speech at the end of the first Transformers movie was the day that America peaked as a country. It's been all downhill from there. And whatever this avant-garde bullshit that you're making, nobody cares about. Only art nerds care about it. It's for your own validation. It won't make the studio any money. And if it's Oscar bait, sure, fine. But don't expect the rest of us to care, because we don't.
Go off.
Let's do some super chats.
No Diggity 247 said, greetings from Minnesota, Brett. Happy birthday. I'm going to Caribou to celebrate. Winky face. Pierogies, here we come.
We're getting close. We're at 6 crisis parties, so we are more than halfway to forcing me to eat pierogies. They
it's
built
gonna happen.
I was living in West St. Paul before I moved out here, and they put a Caribou. There was a Caribou up the road from me, and then they put another one in on the other side. I don't even remember if there was any Starbucks or there was Caribou had a monopoly.
I don't know if I've ever been to a Caribou coffee. I don't plan on it.
I mean, I'm not.
Starbucks is just too comfortable for me.
I'm not. The only time I ever drink coffee or Starbucks is literally when Tim buys it for the company.
Like this morning?
Like this morning. I drank it because it was there.
He was just feeling a little crazy today. Yurishima Otaru said, Brett, happy birthday. Don't give in to big pierogi. No, we will make it happen. I believe in us.
We're getting there.
Smoke Daddy 00 said, happy birthday, Brett. Hi, Mary. Hello.
Hello. And thank you. Let's hold off on the rest and we'll come back. Let's move on.
All right. So it was just a couple of weeks ago that Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's lawyer, announced their decision not to amend their complaint against Blake Lively. The judge dismissed Justin Baldoni's claims of defamation against Blake Lively, which was a huge blow to his side of the case. However, he still has to defend himself against the claims of defamation that Blake Lively has leveled. And she has only become more unhinged, paranoid, and overly confident as time goes on. The latest update in this case is that Blake Lively's team has now issued subpoenas to a bunch of YouTubers who are favorable to Justin Baldoni, basically accusing them of colluding with Justin Baldoni in the smear campaign that allegedly took place against her last year.
I'm picturing like a giant Justin Baldoni head-shaped table around a perpetually burning flame where the anti-Lively cabal had their meetings, maybe in cloaks.
Bohemian Grove.
Baldonian Grove.
Right.
Yes.
So the subpoenas have been issued to Candace Owens and then also Andy Signore, who we've had on the show. He runs Popcorn Planet, and Perez Hilton as well. I wasn't aware that Perez Hilton was a Justin Baldoni defender.
I didn't know that either.
News to me. And interestingly, TMZ reported on this before the subpoenas were even issued, actually.
I mean, TMZ is always on the ball.
Pretty certain Blake Lively's team gave them the exclusive to report on it because the headline came out and Candace Owens and Andy Signore both said, we haven't gotten anything delivered to us. What are you talking about, TMZ? And
so did Blake Lively pull one of those things where she let TMZ know ahead of time?
Yes, the same way that they colluded with the New York Times, allegedly, before her civil complaints against Justin Baldoni. And this is the headline. The ongoing legal war between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has taken another turn, with notable online personalities being drawn into the fight over possible collusion via their Blake-bashing commentary. A source with direct knowledge tells TMZ Perez Hilton, Candace Owens, and Andy Signore have all been subpoenaed to turn over any and all communications with Justin Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties. The subpoenas may be connected to the judge's order earlier this month, allowing Blake to take discovery in order to uncover the alleged lengths, if any, that Baldoni's side may have gone to in working with notable anti-Blake content creators.
Wait, I noticed that Colonel Kurtz didn't get mentioned here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they presumed her innocent.
Colonel Kurtz is a great friend of the show. And I wonder I would like to know how she feels about this. Does she feel like, relieved because she doesn't have to spend money on court appearances, but a little bit left out maybe?
Well, I think the reason for Andy Signore getting this subpoena is that Brian Friedman issued an exclusive statement about the lawsuit, specifically to Popcorn Planet a couple of weeks ago, which I found quite strange. Nothing against independent people reporting on these things, nothing against content creators who aren't part of a larger organization, but it was something that rang odd to even Justin Baldoni's supporters that his legal team would issue an exclusive statement to a YouTuber. Mm-hmm. Like, that doesn't seem like something people find respectable or just an industry standard.
Yes.
So that does lead some to believe that a YouTuber like Andy Signore is possibly communicating with Justin Baldoni or his team behind the scenes. However, that wouldn't prove what they're implying happened here. What Blake Lively's team is implying by issuing these subpoenas is that Candace Owens, Andy Signore, and Perez Hilton were colluding with Justin Baldoni last year in the summer during what the alleged smear campaign took place.
My gosh, was it that long ago?
Yes. Back in August of 2024, that's when they're claiming that this happened. And I watched Candace Owens' episode addressing this yesterday. She said she had not gotten delivered any subpoena. And the funny thing is, this is just how journalists always conduct themselves. TMZ sent her an email, and Andy Signor, and I'm assuming Perez Hilton as well, asking for a statement in response to the situation.
Right before they drop it. So that way, if they don't, they can say that they reached out for comment but didn't get a response back.
So this article was released by TMZ at, I believe, 2:17 p.m. yesterday. And they sent the emails at
11. Yeah, it was 11:17 Pacific.
Right. Yeah. And they sent the emails for statements literally 6 minutes prior to publishing.
Scummy.
Yeah.
Scummy.
So what they want to happen is for someone to click on this article.
Oh, they reached, but what do you mean? They reached out for comment and they had nothing to say.
Right. That's what it says at the bottom.
Still waiting to hear back.
Right.
To be fair, websites like TMZ will update articles.
They did update it. But still, I just wanted to mention they wanted people to think, oh, she's staying silent. I wonder why. But here was Candace Owens' statement. Given the fact that I have not received any subpoena yet, I appreciate Blake's team leaking this to TMZ to alert me to it. And of course, I have not the slightest idea what I am being subpoenaed for, as I knew none of these parties when their respective lawsuits were filed. But stay tuned and I'll let audiences know on my podcast. So she actually, on her podcast, opened her phone, opened her text messages, word searched Blake Lively, and just showed everyone her phone. And she said, like, this is the earliest mention. In 2019, I was complimenting Blake Lively's engagement ring. And after that, the second time that she ever mentioned Blake Lively was about covering remember the interview where Blake Lively said, oh, I love your little bump to the journalist? She was sending a message to her employee about covering that on the show. Yeah. There's no text message chain with Justin Baldoni. There's no shadowy organization behind the scenes that Justin Baldoni is employing a bunch of YouTubers to make Blake Lively look bad.
To be fair, if you were going to do that, you'd probably use a burner phone anyways, but...
Sure, okay. But this is paranoid schizophrenia, okay? Like, she just cannot accept the reality that people genuinely don't like her. And they genuinely were looking at her behavior in old interviews and saying, this is a rude, entitled celebrity. For context, the journalist in that old interview said to Blake Lively, who was pregnant at the time, something about how she was complimenting her baby bump. And Blake Lively said, oh, I love your little bump.
Yeah.
Okay, like a psycho. And people circulated that video, and that was around August of 2024, before any of this lawsuit stuff blew up. And it was just a genuine matter of public interest that Blake Lively is kind of a shitty person. So nobody had to coordinate or collude on anything.
Which is weird, because it's not like that's even like some type of death knell in Hollywood.
No.
Like that can be your whole brand.
No, if she just had a speck of social media literacy, I think she would realize that just ignoring the bad press and keeping it pushing is always the move. Don't address it, never talk about it, and act like it never happened.
Yep, just keep
The movie
going.
was successful. Maybe some people were making fun of you on Twitter for a week, but nobody remembers that 2 seconds later.
Short attention spans, and the outrage cycle moves so fast.
Wild.
That just keep going. Literally just keep going. Like, we do this for a living, and I was just, and there'll be times where I'm like, who is that person that said that thing? Because we go through so much in a week that you forget. Like, okay, so just earlier I was mentioning like Olivia Munn saying that a director called her combative. In exactly 1 hour, I'm gonna be like, who is the actress who said something? Like, I'm not gonna remember.
Like, Blake Lively doesn't realize how unimportant she truly is, actually.
Which is a good thing, because you get to both make the money and be bulletproof, because people won't remember or care.
Exactly.
Just go on and make your next movie about domestic abuse and talk about what florals you're going to wear and
sell your alcohol brand, sell your hair care brand.
It'll be fine.
And then as for Andy Signor, he also issued a statement. His attorney says, my client has not been served with any legal process at this time. Should service occur, we intend to vigorously defend against any claims and will protect the confidentiality of sources on both sides.
Okay.
This is also an attack on independent journalism.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? It's not just Blake Lively being paranoid and psycho, which she is. It is basically an intimidation tactic. Stop talking about this public lawsuit. Stop making me look bad.
Correct.
Stop reporting on it. Stop getting tips from sources. They want to issue subpoenas to discover who these sources are. And it discourages independent journalists or content creators from reporting on this matter, which obviously engages public interest. And that is the most worrying part of it. But I will have to say, like, Blake Lively really got too bold with this one. You do not want to pick a fight with a Candace Owens.
Yeah.
Like, you're just making the wrong public enemy. You're about to, it's going to be the ultimate FAFO.
Because she's like, her husband's got money. She can go to war.
She has her own legal team. Yeah. This isn't her first rodeo with, getting subpoenaed. This isn't her first rodeo with legal trouble or celebrity feuds by far. It's just wild, though. Like, just the day before, Candace Owens was saying that Donald Trump called her on the phone and asked her to stop talking about Brigitte Macron. What kind of life is that? That people are constantly trying to silence you from talking about things that clearly interest millions of people. Yeah. It seems like just an effort to stifle speech. I really don't like it.
The point of him calling is like, look, she looked like a woman to me.
No, literally.
I know.
That's the most insane part of it, is that he said, like, oh,
he's like, look,
I hung out with her one time. She looked like a chick.
I think I got a good look at her. She looked like a woman. All right.
Insane.
Let's go to Super Chats. Guys, we are still a little over halfway to forcing me to eat pierogies. Just a heads up.
I really want it to happen. Come on, guys. We can do it. Shane H. Wilder said Johnson & Johnson's stock prices dipped before the verdict and have since bounced back. LOL.
That's what
cannot
happens.
Believe it.
Like,
guys, it wasn't baby oil, though.
I need to invest in Johnson & Johnson for the memes.
Corey Anderson said Sydney Sweeney is a great actress. She has 2 major talents. You mean her charisma and great diction?
Yes, she pronounces words very, very well. Her pronunciation is top notch.
Yeah, she has actually just terrible acting skills, but it's fine.
Hiroshima Hotaru. It's not necessary.
No, it's not.
For her, it's not necessary. For a lot of actresses, it's not necessary.
You can skate by.
Like, look.
Dakota Johnson is a terrible actress.
Tara Reid never needed to be a good actress. That doesn't make Sharknado any less awesome.
No. Hiroshima Otaru said that Diddy DeVito pick was great.
Happy to help. Let's do 2 more.
Isabella Live 2.0 said Justine was Justine when he left Flavor Camp.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
I feel like I'm missing something.
Corey Anderson said, I live my life by WMJM. Would Mary judge me? Most of the time it is yes. I try to do better, but I am old and stuck in my ways. LOL. You're probably right. Yeah. Err on the side of Mary is judging you for whatever you're doing or not doing.
Perfect. All right. Let's hold off and we will move on. It's time to talk about InstaFace.
Our feeds are dominated by the same face. We see all of the same features constantly fed to us in the algorithm, and it's called Instagram Face. This term was actually coined back in 2019, and since then it's got even more widespread. This was a piece in The New Yorker by Gia Tolentino. The Age of Instagram Face, How Social Media, Facetune, and Plastic Surgery Created a Single Cyborgian Look. You know it when you see it. It's the intensely photoshopped, face-tuned, airbrushed face that even after, or even before all of the editing, looks disturbing when it's in motion because of all the filler and the plastic surgery and the Botox. Nobody actually looks like that. And I think the theory goes Gen Z has been inundated with these images for so long, since the very first time that they got smartphones.
Yeah.
They are finally in a state of Instagram face fatigue. losing interest in overly altered faces and gravitating toward more natural beauty.
Big super chat here from Melly May 4455 says, "Happy birthday, Brett. It will happen." Yes, we will get to.
It will happen.
There will be pierogies.
Thank you for donating to a good cause.
I mean, this was also something, and thank you so much for that. Like, this is something that even before Instagram Face, like the discussion of airbrushing and Photoshop on the cover of magazines.
Yeah, that's nothing new.
Nothing new.
Right. But I think at least when it was on magazine covers, people had a general understanding that they were looking at altered photos.
Yes, the whole point of like seeing a celebrity on Instagram is like if they see just a regular looking photo from them that looks like it was just taken on their phone, it should theoretically have inherent flaws that they would understand why it's covered up on a magazine cover. Right. Then they're like, why are these photos of them at a pool why do they look like the magazine covers?
So they say our screens, thanks to Instagram, reality television, they also mention Love Island, and influencer culture, are increasingly filled with faces sculpted by tweakments and plastic surgeries, lip filler, Botox, buccal fat removal, rhinoplasties, deep plain facelifts, etc. The result is that many women now look like a Bratz doll or, in some selfies, AI. It's as if they went to the med spa or plastic surgeon and all used the same reference photo. That's not to say none are beautiful, but I, like a lot of other people, am tired of how common that Instagram face look has become. It's everywhere, it looks unnatural, and now that we know they all got the same procedures done, the wow factor is gone. There is an overexposure of the artificial, small-nosed, big-lipped, batty aesthetic, and everyone is experiencing fatigue. So I just think of this scandal that broke out over Tana Mojo face tuning her photo to hell. She went to a red carpet event, and of course the Getty images are published for everyone to see, but the one that she posted, she was lit from literally every direction. She was orange. She suddenly had eye makeup that was never there before. It was just like literally completely different person.
It's so weird because
people can see the original too.
Yeah, but you don't care about them.
Does it even matter?
No, it doesn't. Like, it's the idea, like, people will say crazy things and contradict themselves all the time because all that matters is what's being said currently. The same is true of the photos. They're like, yeah, sure, a bunch of people will see those photos, but a lot of people will also see that one. It's kind of like when we talk about you have to be willing to be misunderstood to become social media famous. You have to be willing to contradict yourself in how you look as well. It's weird because it gets, and everybody's kind of falls victim to it. Like, I dare you to find me the person who takes just one photo of themselves when they post a selfie. That doesn't happen. I'm sure even the least vain person probably takes at least two. Okay? Sure. But the point is you look at old photos of 35 millimeter cameras, and the entire reason it's awesome is because of the fact that you couldn't take the photo twice. Because it was capturing you in the moment at a moment that felt very real. You go back and look through your Instagram archive now, and none of it feels real.
Well, this is interesting that they argue Gen Z is pushing back on Instagram face.
Gen Z likes the digital cameras now. They like the self-contained digital cameras. I
have one in my backpack over there right now. I have one of those handheld point and shoots because I love that style of photography. It does feel more spontaneous, and it actually is. It's more fun, and it's just more real. And it looks more like what you saw with your own eyes than an iPhone camera, which has built-in filters and portrait mode and all of these fancy tools that no one cares to use. And that is popular with Gen Z. The whole indie sleaze trend, the rebirth of indie sleaze
that's because they're sad
Gen
they missed out on hipsters.
True, but it also has to do with the fact that the photos posted to social media at the time in its infancy were less curated, not edited, and more in the moment. So that's a sign that they're pushing back on Instagram face. There are also TikTok trends where people are like, this is me, no filter at whatever age they are, no makeup, and they just show angles of themselves. And this is a form of de-influencing you from idolizing the Instagram face that you're used to seeing. because it's a form of exposure therapy. Like, the more you're exposed on social media to what people's faces really look like, the less you will desire what is fake. So there is all of that. And I recognize that Gen Z is organically pushing back on it, but at the same time, it's kind of self-contradictory, because the plastic surgery and cosmetics, aesthetics industry has never been more popular. It is at an all-time height of popularity and accessibility, and that includes Gen Z clientele, young women in their late teens, early 20s, who are going to get Botox and fillers, and they're coming in with reference photos of, you know, Alex Earl or Madison Beer or Khloe Kardashian, perhaps. So at the same time that these cosmetic procedures are at an all-time high of popularity, there is also an all-time high of popularity of just complaining about it.
I guess that just means that there's more people thinking about it in general.
But it's a little bit more like plastic surgery for me and not for thee. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm going to talk down on it, and then privately I'm going to engage in it because I have my reasons.
Yeah.
Right? Like, everyone feels that their insecurity takes precedent.
I mean, I get just as annoyed by the people who are like my photos because I'm not using filters. I hate that as much as I hate the people who are like using the filters. Like, it's just your own brand. It's like, Pamela Anderson doing the I go to red carpets without makeup on. I'm like, it's a red carpet. You're supposed to dress up and put makeup on. Now, if you want to post
the
pictures,
setting is different.
If you want to post pictures at home and not have makeup on, sure. But you've just turned it into your newest avenue for recognition.
Sure, you could like argue that makeup is just part
I'm not
of
going
the
to say
dress code.
I'm not going to say it's a grift.
Event.
It's not a grift. But the point is it's a marketable avenue for you to go down. And it's its own thing.
Well, I think one of the worst consequences of social media is it tricks everyone into thinking they're a celebrity, and the medium is the message. So the medium of something like X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, is you are given the ability to publish your thoughts on literally everything at all times. And even if no one is reading your posts, it still feels like your voice matters. Like, the message of that medium is everyone needs to know what you think. Everyone is listening.
It's so weird too, because like when I was not being on X, I'm like, you know what? I don't have anything really all that interesting to say. Does it even matter? Like, sometimes it does, because my job kind of requires me to have a presence. I guess. Like, I could do it without it, and there's probably some vanity in there as well. But if I disappeared from the internet tomorrow, nothing would matter. Nothing would change. Literally nothing would be lost. But there are a couple of people in the world who have such unique thoughts and such interesting perspectives that the world is worse off if they're not sharing it with the world. But that's a very, very small number of people. For the rest of us, it's vanity.
Well, that's a form of like intellectual vanity that is encouraged on a platform like X, right? Yeah. That's just about what your opinions are. Yeah. But with Instagram, on the other hand, the medium is you're being encouraged to display yourself, display images of yourself. And the message behind it is everyone's looking at you. Even though that's not the truth. Yeah. Nobody's looking at you, especially when you leave the house. Literally, no one is paying attention to you. No one is analyzing your facial features.
But it is like an epidemic now where everyone does think like they're worried that everybody's judging them and looking at them. They're not. They're
why
literally worried
there
about
is
their
this
own
impulse to be camera ready at all times, even if the measures necessary to do so cost you thousands of dollars, have lasting scars and syringes in your face. Yeah. Because you have to be camera ready at all times because you feel like everyone's looking at you when no one is paying any attention to you. And they mentioned actually that Amy Lou Wood, the actress in The White Lotus, the latest season of White Lotus, was praised for not getting work done on her face and also having her natural teeth instead of veneers, which are increasingly common in Hollywood now. She showed many facial expressions completely unrestricted by Botox. She didn't get veneers either, and her smile lit up every scene. It was truly refreshing to watch a pretty face that could actually move.
Yeah.
Celebrities...
I was mentioning to you before the show, I was like, me and Olivia I'm getting her to watch Arrow, and the actress Katie Cassidy, she only knows how to ugly cry, and it's quite nice. Like, you know, because that's in the CW, they don't hire ugly people. It's all conventionally, like almost suspiciously conventionally attractive people. And every time she cries, she doesn't do like some type of like half cry. It's not like a single tear. Her lips are literally quivering, and she like somehow makes a double chin that isn't there, which I can appreciate. But nowadays, when you see actresses, it happened to Lauren Holly. Lauren Holly was a fantastic actress. She had a ton of work done, and the only roles she excels in now are where she has to play stoic because her face doesn't look like it moves.
Yeah, just look at a scene of Lindsay Lohan attempting to fake cry in her Netflix movie, Irish Wish. She has so much Botox in her face that she literally cannot furrow her brow.
Yeah.
So that's just on the celebrity side of things. Celebrities are hyper visible, and yes, the reality is people are looking at them. But nowadays, it's just odd that ordinary people feel looked at as Lindsay Lohan.
Because ordinary people have a camera in front of them more than any normal person ever did before social media and smartphones.
We have a 20 from Le Bass Eater. Happy birthday, Bread Day Civic. Too many more.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I wanted to show, first off, a before and after of Lauren Sanchez that is gaining traction right now. They say, I don't care about Jeff Bezos or Lauren Sanchez or their wedding. What I care about is girls and women getting brainwashed into thinking this is normal or beautiful. Please don't do this to yourself. And of course, it's undeniable that she looks like a natural beauty before she got all of this work done on her face. It's very disturbing to look at someone like this, even in photos, but even more so, I imagine, in real life.
Yeah.
It's only meant to look good in photos, and even now it's gotten to such an extreme that the photos don't do it justice. Yeah. And then I also saw several examples of old Hollywood starlets who they say didn't get plastic surgery. This was a few examples. This has about 5 million views at this point, including Marilyn Monroe. Is that Sophia Loren?
Get this in order.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Does it look like they have work done?
I mean, I'm not the expert here. I don't know. Like, I can recognize what we see as work today because it's so prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
But.
And some people are saying, yeah, they all had plastic surgery too back then. But it's definitely not to the same level as it is today. And this was also like prior to.
I mean, most of this is what Margot Robbie looks like today. This aesthetic is what Margot Robbie looks like today.
True. But it's almost
who is, by the way, a July 2nd birthday like me.
But the sad
along with Lindsay Lohan
part is the face of Margot Robbie isn't the beauty standard anymore.
Well, also we talk about how like they dress her horribly when she goes to the events.
They never do her hair.
Thank you.
But yeah, like Margot Robbie, strikingly, objectively beautiful. A face meant for movies. However, she is not the beauty standard because she doesn't have an Instagram face.
Yeah.
Which is just insane. And it's not a good thing. They also show a picture of Ava Gardner here who didn't get any work done in this photo. Also naturally beautiful. But people are still born with these features. They just pay for Instagram face instead because that's what's seen as preferable. That's what's mass marketed and consumed. Yep. And it's like still an unchallenged norm that maybe is falling out of popularity. We can hope.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it only gets worse. I think kind of like they say politics only flows one direction. I think that this type of thing only flows one direction as, especially as surgery gets more financially accessible to people.
Right. Sort of like how, televisions are cheap.
Yeah. You can buy like a 70-inch TV for like nothing now.
Yeah.
But you'll never own a home.
Right. Exactly. You can pay for a Botox treatments, but you'll never afford a home.
That's sad, but true in a lot of ways. I just feel like the insecurities only get worse with society, especially as people grow up both with a phone in their face and a camera in their face all the time, and examples of celebrities in their face all the time, because technology is like literally thrust into their hands at the earliest age possible.
Right. I mean, I just look back on downloading Instagram when I was 12. I might have even been 11. And I'm like, there's no benefit. I've reaped no benefit from being on social media.
It doesn't help anybody.
At that young of an age.
Like,
I could have easily used it later on.
It doesn't benefit anybody that young.
No.
Like, when we have kids, I'm looking forward to not giving them technology.
That's like kids don't even go through awkward phases anymore because they're just exposed to adults online.
Yep.
Sad.
All right, let's finish the Super Chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, am I the only one who doesn't find elective plastic surgery attractive? There is something so vainly picture of Dorian Gray about it.
I mean, but that's like the debate that everybody has now, because what the internet would say is that nobody likes Lauren Sanchez. That's what they say. They're like, women, this isn't attractive. Men don't like this, yet these women always end up married or...
Plenty of men
like it's a cope.
Attractive.
It's a cope to what did I say?
I don't know why, because I find it horrifying,
what
but
did I say
they
yesterday?
do.
I said that yes, they were at bars in the 2000s and they wore Affliction and the women did well and they wore True Religion jeans.
Like I do think a larger share of men would find the original Lauren Sanchez attractive, though.
It is also Lindsay Lohan's birthday today.
Happy
along
birthday,
with Margot
Lilo.
Robbie and Larry David and Ashley Tisdale.
Happy birthday. Maybe it's associated with being a star.
Maybe it is.
Having a July 2nd birthday. Shawnee Davis. I don't know if I said that right. Happy birthday, Brett. With your upcoming wedding, you are one step closer to becoming a hockey dad, as foretold by HCB. Oh, hi, Mary. Keep up the awesome daytime entertainment.
That is true. There will definitely be hockey if there are sons. I mean, I guess there could be hockey if there are daughters too, if they want to play.
You have to force them to become hockey kids.
Look, playing sports is very, very good for you. Like I would have regretted, I'm sure, if I hadn't played sports growing up. I played baseball and hockey. My dad was a coach in hockey. That there's something beneficial to learning to accept waking up at 6 a.m. for hockey practice on a Saturday. Because I never, whenever we would go to church, I definitely didn't want to wake up at 7 a.m. for church or 8 a.m. for church. And I didn't necessarily want to wake up at 6 a.m. for hockey practice, but I always liked it when I was done. And it teaches you work ethic and discipline.
Well, your dad being a coach makes it a lot different. I just think that
he didn't always coach my team, but he did. Yeah. There were seasons that he did.
But like, I think a lot of families, especially if you have, 3 or more kids, it is impossible for all of them to do sports. That would actually be unsustainable.
It's literally too expensive.
It's too expensive.
Hockey
it's
is
time
ridiculously
consuming.
Expensive.
You're not going to have time together as a family because someone is always at practice, someone is always having a game, someone is always traveling.
Yeah.
Like,
just look at Patrick Bet-David's kids, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m.
I am against that. I am. Like, I don't know.
Against what? Like,
I don't think it's bad for a kid to play sports. I think there are plenty of benefits from it, but maybe the drawbacks maybe they outweigh the benefits.
For boys especially, I don't think so. I think that there's
for the family.
Depends on the size of the family. So me and my brother were like 7 years apart in age. So like when I was playing mites and peewees and stuff like that, he was already much older than me, and he played baseball, not hockey. I played baseball and hockey, and it was just different. Like at that point, him and my dad weren't like splitting time to bring him to practice. He could drive himself. Right. And it was a little bit different, but that was, to me, it was a benefit to learn the discipline of waking up on time, working within a team, which to be fair, like wasn't even my favorite. Like one of the reasons I end up loving skating so much was that you were responsible 110% for your own progression, and succeeding or failing on any given trick, no matter how dangerous, was 100% your responsibility and not something that fell on a whole team of people, which I liked. But that doesn't mean that that's the only life lesson to be learned. Sure. There are life lessons to be learned about, you know, working together with others, learning to stay on track. There's a lot of learning and stuff involved in that, not just physical learning, but mental learning. Like we were talking about Travis Kelce, like having his table read with SNL and being like, crap, I can't read. Like there's a lot that goes into being a pro athlete beyond just the physical. He's smart, just in a different way.
I guess my hope is just that my kids have hobbies they can do independently without my help. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like then what it is like one of the, you have to, like, parents switch off. Like it depends on who it is. My mom wasn't ever bringing me to hockey practice, but they, you know, my dad and my mom worked separate schedules.
Depends. Kava 1996 said, happy birthday, Brett. Hello, Mary. I look forward to watching PCP whenever it's on.
Don't do that. It's bad. Don't watch PCP.
I think you got a little confused there. Shane H. Wilder said never watch PCC on PCP in the CCP.
That would be a horrible idea.
Triple whammy.
I feel like your social credit score would be like just obliterated for that. Guys, we got a long way to go in 20 minutes if you guys want to make me eat pierogies. Just letting you know.
It's an uphill battle now.
We are 3 crisis parties away.
Kava said LOL PCC. Sorry about that mistake.
I'm going to read Rumble Rants here.
Oh, I forgot about the Rumble Rants.
Cookie Don says, for $2, says, congrats, Brett. You are another year closer to receiving erectile dysfunction ads in your feed. Never me, man. Yikes. Couldn't be me. $5 from Deep South EDC says, happy birthday, Brett. Hope you have a great day. Thank you so much. I'll be on IRL tonight, so I'm working late tonight. $20 from JT. What is that? J-Throck? We'll just say J-Throck. Happy birthday, Brett. My family just finished rewatching Fringe last night. What phrase slash song, etc. would you use to not be read by an observer? I would choose Sandstorm by Darude. I forget that storyline. Like the Observer storyline went off the rails, especially in season 5 when they like invaded. I liked that storyline when it was the bit about Walter saving his son from the other dimension and the Observer's help. But after a while, it was like they turned them into like maniacal villains, and I never liked that characterization. As for a song that I could like occupy my brain to prevent it, I don't know, Mary. Like, what's a song that's so catchy that the second you hear it, it's what you think about?
Bulletproof by LaRue.
Oh, that's such a good choice. Colorless Color by LaRue as well.
I haven't heard that one.
Fantastic band.
Is it a band?
I mean, it's like a...
I don't know. I just figured it was like some...
It's a woman.
French woman.
It's a friend. I mean, maybe it's just her, but, you know, when I think about it, I think of like more than one person. Urka says, so glad to have finally given PCC a listen for the first time a month ago. My afternoons have never been better. Aww. Happy birthday, Brett. Well, that's what we want.
We're just full of positivity today.
That's the whole point, right?
This is great.
Local Wendigo, thank you so much for that, and we're glad that you found the show. Local Wendigo says, Mary, you can still make him eat pierogies off camera. Just need to beat him a little extra.
Yikes. Okay.
That's rude.
He's not going to get beat on his birthday. It's not okay.
Modest Rat says, here's a 5 for your B-Day, Bert. Congrats on not dying for another year, even though you hang with a ghost girl nearly every day. Here's to another 100 B-Days. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay,
we're all caught up on Rumble.
Thank you guys so much over on Rumble.
All right. No Control said, how do I buy trauma ETFs? Well, let me know when you find out, because that sounds like a very secure
220s
investment.
there.
Oh, I didn't see those either. Pat the Plumber said, you should add the Rumble Rants to the pierogi fund. Well, it doesn't count toward Crisis Party, so guess we're out of luck there. Nick C said, happy birthday, Bort, and hi, Marnie.
Thank you.
Hi.
Do you have like any type of ritual on your birthday, like something you do every year? For instance, every 4th of July, I watch Independence Day. I made Olivia watch it for the first time last year, and then just yesterday I was on Hulu. I'm like, oh, guess what? Independence Day is coming up, and she knew exactly what I meant because I didn't call it 4th of July. I called it Independence Day, which was me saying, like, we're going to be watching Independence Day on the 4th of July.
I don't think I have a birthday ritual. Do you?
No, nothing specific. I mean, like, here, when I first started working here, I took the day off because I think I don't remember if we were out of town for the 4th, so it's like I took like an extra day off. But I like never really celebrate birthdays.
Adam said happy birthday, Brett.
Thank you. And hi, Marnie.
Mega Red fan said Rikishi. What is this?
I can't see it.
Rikishi
as in the pro
Diddy'd
wrestler?
for The Rock. Happy birthday, Bert.
He did it for The Rock. That's what he's talking about. Rikishi was a pro wrestler. He's probably bitching about Jey Uso right now, isn't he?
Adam said pierogi Puetzel. That would be taking it too far.
That's just too much.
Stefan Puddle said pierogies.
Is that how it's pronounced?
I don't know. No Control said happy birthday. Have a pierogi, not to be confused with pierogi's disease. What is that?
I didn't know that was a thing.
Did
Dr. House ever like diagnose that?
It's not pierogi's disease.
It's like lupus. It's not lupus.
Shane H. Wilder said, "You are a rich actress who can pick their roles. You don't get to bitch and moan about a job being unfulfilling. You can just pick a different role."
That is true.
Yep. JJ said, "Because LGBT and DEI writers suck at their jobs." Factual.
20 there.
Oh, I keep missing these. Bowster?
We'll go
Happy birthday, that Brett. Musty, make the pierogies happen.
Getting there.
Did you just call me Musty?
Maybe you just meant must make the pierogies happen.
I will not respond.
She's like, I will not be called
Absolutely
Musty.
not. Look, you guys were closer than you think, but it takes a team effort here. T-Dog said, "I heard James Comey's daughter is in charge of the Diddy case. Maybe that's why he got off. Also, are we living through a World War III war for the mind? Happy birthday, Brett."
I mean, if that's true, that's depressing because all the movies about a war on the mind are going to be annoying think pieces and annoyingly artistic.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
James Comey's daughter, but why would that have anything to do with him getting...
Wasn't she also involved in
not guilty.
Maxwell's trial?
I don't know.
Like I said, we're not law tubers.
JB's Spooky Review said, "Happy birthday, bud. I hope you have a great day."
Thank you. And you guys should go check out JB's Spooky Reviews on YouTube. It is a fantastic channel. I would like to draw your attention to all of his X-Files Revisited segments, which I have watched several of multiple times.
I think we missed this 20 earlier from Adolfo Batista. It's just a cat emoji. But
thank you.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Shane H. Wilder. Oh, wait. We just got another crisis party from Not John Stewart. 4 cheese pierogies, cheddar pierogies, classic onion, feta and spinach, garlic and parmesan, jalapeno and sharp cheddar, loaded baked potato. So many choices.
Loaded baked potato sounds really good right now.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure pierogies consist of potato and cheese.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
You really can't go wrong. It's
so
just drunken fries in a different form.
I do love drunken fries.
Same ingredients.
Yeah. I was gonna go, like, if I wasn't doing IRL tonight, I guess I would have gone and seen Jurassic World Rebirth, but then, like, the reviews are, like, really bad.
But then
for
Scarlett Johansson was annoying.
Yeah. But no, the thing is, though, is, like, so I saw, like, Cosmic Book News saying, like, the reviews are crappy for this movie. Nobody likes it. But I'm like, I thought we didn't trust reviewers anyways. Like, isn't that, like, if critics hate it, it's probably good?
People just change their minds based on what's convenient.
Yes.
That's what it is. Shane H. Wilder said, "When I shoot things with my DSLR, I go for an in-the-moment style. I shoot raw, so I use Lightroom for processing, but I keep things old school." When I look at photos from point-and-shoot cameras in the 2000s, what I see is just what my eyes saw.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of iPhones having the new and improved camera every single time that they re-release a new version. I don't want higher quality photos. I just want photos that look like real life.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be, you know, with all these different filters and the portrait mode and the all, it's all unnecessary accoutrement. I just want it to look like the shitty photos that I took with an iPod Touch.
My favorite thing is we used to do ridiculously dangerous tricks on skates, and they would be shot on 35mm cameras where we wouldn't even know for a week if the photo even worked. Like the guys I shot with were so good at their job, they knew. They knew they got it. But that's very different.
But you didn't
than,
know.
I didn't know until we saw it later, because a lot of times this would involve shooting with flashes and stuff. So sometimes the flash just doesn't go off.
Or the focus doesn't.
Well, I mean, that's usually they're good. If they're good at their job, the focus isn't the issue. But a lot of times it's flash wasn't cooperating, especially if it's winter and stuff like that. So there are definitely photos where I'm just
that's gotta be infuriating.
Hope it turned out. I don't think there were any real. I think there was maybe one example of one that didn't come out, and it wasn't even his fault. It was a flash didn't work.
Willem said saw the Jurassic Birth premiere last night in 40X and was let down. Scarlett can't act, but also can't show skin to distract anymore. Surprisingly, the lesbian dies before the black guy.
There you go.
Well, that's what you have to look forward to, Brett.
But
Sorry.
Then I already bought my Superman tickets, so I did realize. So at our theater that we go to, if you go to a 10 p.m. showing, it's $3 cheaper than.
Oh, because it's a shitty time that no one wants.
I accidentally bought 10 p.m. tickets, and I'm like, why is it cheaper? I just returned them and then
oh my gosh,
got the 9 p.m. showing. Mm-hmm. But there's never an 8 p.m.
They're always
never an 8 p.m. There's always a 6:10, which I can't make it to because I'm still at work.
Right.
And I can't make it to 7 because by the time I get home from work, I have to commute. It's 7 o'clock already. There's no 8 p.m. showing ever, and people were giving me crap because I tweeted about this last week, and I was complaining. First world problems. I'm like, well, you know what? Yeah, fine. I live in the first world.
Therefore, I have a first world problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's so surprising about that? Kay said 4 birthday pierogies.
Well, we're getting there. We're a little under.
Oh, we're actually gonna do it. It's gonna happen.
We got to get to one more crisis party.
In 10 minutes, I know that we can get to the 10th crisis party. I believe in you guys. Shane H. Wilder said, old school Hollywood starlets had a natural beauty that could still be had today if they didn't keep going under the knife.
I mean, also shooting actresses back in the day on 35mm film. They make makeup specifically for television people, for newscasters, because of the harsh light and lines of HD. So the soft lighting, it was a different look.
The headshots that they took were flattering on everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew Canoy said, I started playing ice hockey again at 34 to expose my daughters to it. My hope for her is to learn to skate well enough to do stick and puck with me and enjoy watching games with me.
There you go.
That's sweet.
And look, the great thing is if you live in a place like Minnesota where there are outdoor ice rinks where you don't have to pay for in the winter, that's another great thing. Some of my best memories aren't necessarily league play. It was going out and skating on, outdoor ice rinks in your free time at night.
Kyle Dixon said, tomorrow is Tom Cruise's birthday. It's also my wife's birthday, but Tom Cruise. I didn't know you were birthday neighbors with Tom Cruise.
Birthday neighbors.
That's actually kind of perfect.
Margot Robbie, Ashley Tisdale. Who was the other one that I said? Lindsay Lohan. I remember I mentioned Lindsay Lohan because we have the same year. We both just turned 39.
We have a $49.99 super chat from Melly May. Can't believe I spent $100 to make Brett eat pierogies.
So are you gonna bring them in tomorrow, or will we do it Monday?
Well, I'm gonna need to procure
the pierogies. Do it Monday. Thank you.
Guaranteed it will happen. Thank you. This is for the 9th one, though, right?
Yes.
Okay. But we're halfway to 10?
Over halfway now.
We have a 20 from Natist the Greatest for the Rogies. We're going to call them Rogies.
Would it be pierogies if they were like pretzels?
If they gave you pierogies on a plane, yeah. Shane H. Wilder said, I never got to do sports because of my parents' work schedules, but I had lots of hobbies. It was worth it in the end. I developed a lot of good skills.
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways to develop skills. It's just for different people. I probably needed the structure and the discipline.
We have another $50 super chat from Not That John Stewart. Baked pierogies, sauteed pierogies, fried pierogies, boiled pierogies, microwave pierogies. So versatile.
Well, okay, so there it is. Monday, I will eat pierogies on this show.
We hit 10.
We did it.
Look at that. Wait, did they break the crisis meter?
No, if another one comes through.
Oh, okay, it's good
resets.
now.
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you guys. And thank you so much. Remember, it's because of you guys that the show exists.
Of course.
So I will suffer through the indignancy of eating pierogies on Monday, and I promise
You're going to be
not...
like pretending not to.
Oh, they're so gross.
You're like it's literally potatoes and cheese. You cannot go wrong. I promise.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
You're going to like it. Adam said, a family tradition for my fam is ice cream carvel cake. I don't know. Is that a British thing? I don't know. It sounds British. No Control said, did y'all watch the latest Squid Games? What you think?
No.
Never watched it.
I mean, I laughed. Okay, so there was people talking about, oh, look at America making their version of Squid Games. Like, look, people take our shows too. In other countries, that's not uncommon. I know that the show The Mentalist ended up getting like a Danish version of it made or something like that. Shows that are American end up getting remade in other countries as well. America does have a history of taking shows from other countries and trying to do their own version of House of Cards. Probably better. The Office, a lot of people would say better. The Killing, I never saw the original version of it, but I love that show in Americans. So, the Danish people who made it, I think, sucks to suck. Sorry. We make our own versions.
We have another $50 super chat from Gordon Shumway. Hear your Beret. Enjoy the pierogies. Make sure he cleans his plate. Mary, Queen of Scoffs.
Queen of Scoffs.
I will make sure of it, I promise you. But if he doesn't, I'm taking the pierogies. I will claim them happily. Shane H. Wilder said, I don't do anything on my birthday because as a kid, my mom would take me to my grandma who would take pictures for 4 hours. My dad smartly stayed at home. You have to take all those pictures to make memories of the things that you didn't do on your birthday.
Yeah.
Obviously. The DJ Foy said, happy birthday, Brett. You're the background sound playing early in the morning while I perform server maintenance at work. Gonna play some Dylan for you, mate.
Oh, no.
It's a crime against everything Brett stands for.
You know my logic behind not wanting to celebrate my birthday is like never get too comfortable being happy because it's going to go wrong eventually. So it's like, why would I want to celebrate? The day's just going to end. Like, why? Like,
but you're going to have another birthday, so it's fine.
I have since grown, but the logic was like, look, if you're always middle of the road, you're never too high or too low. So just don't celebrate.
Enraged Ham said, happy birthday, Brett. Here's 2 pierogies.
We're going to have to come up with a similar bet for you.
It's pierogi culture crisis.
We're going to have to do a similar bet for you on your birthday. Perhaps pretzels.
I'm not a picky eater, though. You can't really threaten me with food.
We'll have to find something.
I eat gross food all the time. It's like not really a thing for me, but I'll think about it. Adam says, looks back for pierogies and runs to fight Mordor. Kyle Dixon said, get the sour cream, folks. It's pierogies time. I didn't know.
Do people put sour cream on pierogies? I'm not a big sour cream person.
Neither am I. High Voltage 75 said, could be worse, Brett. We could be asking you to bleach your hair again.
Yeah,
Count your blessings.
It wouldn't happen anyways because I've got a wedding coming up, and the fastest way to get that wedding called off, I think, would be for me to just show up the day before with blonde hair.
You can always just dye it brown again. It's fine. Nick Rogue said, hey, Brett and Manny, here's to those birthday pierogies. Also,
thank you.
Manny, say Wetzels, please. I did. There you go.
Like, imagine I show up the day before the wedding. I'm like, Olivia.
I mean, she wouldn't call it off.
Ooh, I don't know.
She would marry you, blonde.
Olivia, are you in the chat? Would you call off the wedding?
Let us know.
She says, hell no.
She wouldn't call it off, or that she would?
Wait, so does that mean you would call it off, or we would just have to go find some over-the-counter hair dye and make do with what we've got?
Yeah, I can't tell. Shane H. Wilder said, I agree with Mary on iPhone photos. They are okay for a quick selfie or snapshot, but they can't compare to a real camera. Yeah, I kind of hate the way that photos turn out on my iPhone now.
Olivia says, my stepmother would simply fall over.
Wait, what?
Her stepmother would fall over.
Oh, if you showed up. I mean, she would, unfortunately, Olivia would find out when she's walking down the aisle, so it's kind of too late. Junie said, happy birthday, bread, smiley face.
Thank you.
Jewish AF of Christendom said, Brett, would you prefer to celebrate your birthday or your sobriety date? I prefer the late because I earned it, but I'm always curious to hear.
I would prefer to celebrate my birthday then. There is something for me that's inherently negative, and I understand that this isn't true for everyone, about celebrating the date, because the argument is like, look, when you get to 10,000 days sober, like the higher you grow, the farther you fall if you fall off the wagon. So I tend to think of sobriety and my continued sobriety as just a matter of course, a fact of life, something that you work on every day. So the birthday is something specific where it feels less dangerous to get up in arms about celebrating it. But I try to treat my sobriety as something that I work on daily, but it's just a matter of life because I don't like the idea of putting fanfare behind it. Though I understand that there's many schools of thought when it comes to that. So not everybody takes the same approach.
As long as we're caught up on Rumble, I believe that we're done with the super chats for the day.
Oh, we got one here from Yer on Rumble. Says, Mary, please show us your armpits. She says no.
You omitted one part of that.
I left that out.
Yeah. We'll just not do
that.
Okay.
The local Wendigo says, make sure they are quality brand pierogies.
What brand then?
Is there like a specific brand that is better?
Yeah, speak now or forever hold your peace, because I'm not an expert.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there
are we all caught up on Rumble then?
I believe so. All right. Guys, before we go, I want to thank you all for being so kind to me today for my birthday. And thank you so much for joining us. As always, this show would not happen if we did not have you guys here to watch it. So thank you so much for that. Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram @MaryArchived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. And help me get TikTok famous. That is also Mary Archived.
All right. If you guys would like to follow me, I am on Instagram and on Twix @BrettDasovic on both of those platforms. Remember, pierogies will be Monday.
Yes.
So that will be on Monday. We'll have to tune into that episode because we are here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Normally, we will be here Monday through Thursday. This week, we are off for 4th of July, but we'll have segments coming out all through the week, the end of the week and the weekend. But normally, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than watch this show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which also helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix @popculture_show. Facebook @PopCultureCrisis, Instagram @PopCultureCrisisPod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see y'all then.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.